All right, next up.
The CHEEZ-IT Bowl, Oklahoma versus number 13, Florida State.
So, weird game. How often do you see like 6-6 against 9-3? You don't often see that. Generally speaking, you see teams that are, have a similar finish. OU. Oh my goodness. OU. So let's just start with OU. Prior to the year, OU fans were so upset with me. And the reason being is I thought that they would take a major step back this year. I thought it was going to be more along those lines of those 2 years with Stoops where I think they were 8-5 in 2 different years. And I said, I think, listen, they lost their coach. They lost all these players off of the defense and the offense and the portal. And I just thought it was going to be too much to overcome, even with the positive sentiment of bringing back kind of a favorite son in Brent Venables, even with getting Dylan Gabriel. And that's exactly what panned out. However, they duped us. Maybe that's the wrong word, but they drew us in with that win over Nebraska. I was there. Gus was there for a half. And Nebraska played so awful in that game, they made me believe in Oklahoma. I didn't know what that team was before that game, and then they just housed Nebraska. I thought that their offense looked explosive. Their defense looked fast. They were tackling well. I thought to myself, well, okay, if they can play like that, well, then this is a team that can absolutely win the Big 12. And they're going to make a run at the Big 12 and, maybe even the playoff. Wrong. They just went on to finish the season 3-6. I mean, what in the world? From 3-0 to 3-6? I mean, wild finish to that season. They do have some opt-outs, and they're big ones. Eric Gray, the running back, he opted out. He was the 3rd leading rusher in the conference. Their best offensive lineman, Anton Harrison, he opted out. Wanya Morris, another offensive lineman, he opted out. Their best defensive lineman, Jalen Redmond, he opted out. Dylan Gabriel is coming back to this team next year, so they should be better offensively. I think that the biggest thing for me is they struggled in 2 areas this year that I thought were vital, and really, I think one of those could hurt them in this matchup against Florida State, which I'll get to in a moment. Their rush defense was just not good enough. They gave up almost 190 yards per game on the ground. And this is a run game for Florida State that has gotten better and better and better in the back half of the season. So that's a big worry for me. And then the other one is they just didn't win tight games. And so to a point, that's a thing. We talk about it with Texas all the time. These 1-score games, this is not great. 3-3 down the stretch, all 3 losses were by 3 points apiece. So at some point, you've got to get better in those moments. Now, you can say that they improved. Remember, if you go back to the 3-0 start, then you see the TCU game and the Texas game, and you think, panic time, uh-oh. But in all reality, once they got Dylan Gabriel back and healthy, they played tight games. There's a world in which they're 9-3 as well with Florida State. And it's a snap here and there. And we obviously would feel a lot different about Oklahoma at 9-3 with 3 close wins in their last 6 versus where they are now at 6-6 in a program that's well, where are they headed? Is it going to turn around? Can they get it back? This is going to be the worst year since pre-Bob Stoops, even if they win. I will tell you this. I do think that there's some pressure on Brent Venables to be 7-6 and not 6-7 at this program. With their success over the last 20 years, you think about that, and that's clearly something that you've got to take into consideration. Now the Florida State angle. Look at Florida State. Really positive season for them. Started with that great win over LSU. Mike Norvell has done a pretty good job, and they have ascended and gotten better every single year, and this year was a bit of a crescendo. I know that they didn't go to the conference championship or win a championship, but they're pretty good. You look at what they were doing in the middle of the season. Granted, they only beat Florida by 7, and I don't think Florida's a great team. But, they had 4 straight wins by over 25 points. Now, the ACC is not great. Okay, I understand that. I think we all understand that. But 25 is a big number. So this is a team that's getting better. Their defense is really good. One of the better, if not the best defense in the ACC. I think I would still probably give Clemson that nod just because of the talent, but this is a really good defense. And then they got their run game going, in particular late in the season. You look at their running back, Trey Benson. He had, like over 150, 160 total yards against Florida, scored 3 times. He's averaging like over 130 scrimmage yards over the last 5 games, and he's got 7 straight games as a team and helped them 7 straight games with over 200 yards rushing. And they're going up against the defense in OU that is, what are they, 9th in the Big 12? 8th, 9th in the Big 12, stopping the run. So this is a bad matchup for Oklahoma, in particular with some of their opt-outs. You look at this Florida State team. Jordan Travis has announced he's going to be coming back. Their star on the defensive line, Jared Verse, is going to be playing in the game. Again, this is a team that looks like they're trying to hold on, change their identity, go through some growing pains in Oklahoma, and a team that feels like they're going to be even better next year in Florida State. So the sentiment of where the teams are headed and where they're at in their overall maturation process matters. And Florida State right now seems like a team that thinks that they can compete on the highest level next year. And I think that they're going to try to use this game to prove that. The defense needs to do a better job creating turnovers. Jordan Travis needs to do a better job becoming a more efficient passer. But those are development things that can pop up and happen in bowl games, which gives you more confidence going into spring ball and then obviously into the next season. I like Florida State in this one. Again, bad matchup. The key to the game is Florida State's run game. Jordan Travis can run the football. Trey Benson can run the football against a team that doesn't stop the run very well, regardless of opt-outs and regardless of what's going on. So I like Florida State. And if you're telling a Florida State fan before the year you're going to beat LSU in week 1 and you're going to win 10 ball games this year and finish 10-3, I think that they would take it. So the Mike Norvell experiment, if you want to call it that, or just the tenure for Mike Norvell, I think continues to go well. Give me Florida State over Oklahoma in the CHEEZ-IT Bowl.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here, College Football on Fox.